It's not that great love or wealth beyond your dreams can't get to you. It's that you're blocking it by choosing to be the person you're being in this moment. It's understanding that your vibration needs to go to the level that will allow that energy of wealth or love or whatever it is that you want in your life in. Wealth knocks on the door and says, here, do you want to come and have this experience? And it doesn't mean that a check's going to come in the mail. It means the universe is going to say, come over here and have this experience. And 9 out of 10 times, it is going to look like a devastating experience because something in your life is going to end. But that's the point. If you want a different experience, the experience you're having currently has to end. But if you keep holding it, saying, okay, I can't let this go, I can't let this go, I can't let this go, you're right, you can't. Welcome back to the Authentic Human Podcast. I'm Michelle Vickers. This episode is live and unscripted because I'm communicating directly with the creator and universal beings to bring you the truth of who you are and why you exist. This is part 27 of the story of creation. Let's see what we're about to learn today. So we've got angelics again today, guys. So we're in first stream. First stream angelics. So again, those are the masters of matter and the physical realm of existence. Okay, so what they want to start with today is understanding and recognizing that in order to create something physical, you have to understand the foundation and the fundamentals of energy. Aha, right. Okay, so that's what they're going to talk about today and what the angelics are explaining, because right now we live in a world where physical manifestation is how we think in terms of creation. Okay, so physical manifestation is, I think it, I want it, bring it to me, right? It's, I want this to happen. And it's like forcing, right? So again, this is setting an expectation. And so energetically, expectations actually repel what we want. Okay. So in terms of understanding, right, this is where a lot of people go into manifestation with the wrong intention, because their intention is to get something. Their intention isn't pure. Okay. Here's the thing. You can actually have any experience you want in creation, but it is not your job to determine how it gets to you. Your job is to choose the experience you want and then allow yourself to work with the universal energy to receive that experience. Most people are working in the manifestation realm where they decide what they want and then they decide how it needs to get to them, when, with what tools, and all of the pieces of right down to your schedule, right? So, it needs to come at this time because I sleep at this time, or I'm busy at this time, or whatever your demands determine. And here's the thing is, particularly right now in existence, right? We're creating a new world. We're creating a new foundation. And what that means is we're going back to the level of consciousness with which we can actually participate in evolution. So that is the exact same level of consciousness that humanity has always thrived in. The only reason humanity is not thriving currently is a result of our lack of participation and our lack of conscious awareness. Okay, it's those two things. And so you've been taught to think you're participating. Why does it feel like you're participating? Because you're exhausted. You're doing all the things that you think you're supposed to be doing, and you're absolutely exhausted. So what happens when someone says, "Why aren't you participating?" and you get angry? You get angry because you feel like you're doing everything you possibly can, and it's still not enough. So you go to that place of the poor me. Okay? And so what the angelics are sharing is understanding that all that exhaustion is a result of your strategizing. It's a result of your participation in the expectation. Understanding how to allow abundance and truth and wealth and love to come into your space, because that's the intention you create. It's understanding and recognizing that you first need to become the human who will allow that to come in. And this is the part we miss when we're strategizing. This is where, when we have an expectation, we've decided it better come to us like we are now. Here's the thing. It's not that great love or wealth beyond your dreams can't get to you. It's that you're blocking it by choosing to be the person you're being in this moment. Okay? It's not that you don't have access to it. It's understanding that your vibration needs to go to the level that will allow that energy of wealth or love or whatever it is that you want in your life in. If it's not coming in, it's because your vibration isn't allowing it in. You're actually repelling it because you want it. Okay? But you want it from a place of, I want it, but I don't want to participate. And what that means is, I'm not going to change. I want it to show up in this life. But here's the thing. If you want one of these great experiences, it's because you want your life to be different than it is. And you already recognize that truth, that it will create a fundamentally different life. But you cannot have the fundamentally different life with you being the same person. Because if you want a remarkable experience, then you need to become remarkable. But the thing is somewhere along the line, you chose to believe you are not remarkable enough. And that's the issue. And what these angelics want you to understand today is that's the actual issue you're dealing with. It has nothing to do with those things out of your reach. It's the fact that you don't actually believe you're either capable or worthy of receiving them and experiencing them. Because the moment you believe your worthiness and your ability to actually have those truths and those experiences and the things that your heart knows you're meant to have, when you believe that you're not only meant to have them, but you understand, because here's the level that you're going to, right? You need to understand that you're going to participate at that level, right? If you want this great love, the deepest connection ever, that means for a deep connection, you need to participate at a level of depth that will create that deep connection. You're not going to just bring someone into your space who wants to connect deeply and you're going to just connect at the surface because you're going to repel the deep connection person. You'll just repel them and they'll try to get in and they'll be like, oh, I guess you weren't really interested. You called for me, but you're not really interested, right? It's the same thing with wealth. Wealth knocks on the door and says, here, do you want to come and have this experience? And it doesn't mean that a check's going to come in the mail. It means the universe is going to say, come over here and have this experience. And 9 out of 10 times, it is going to look like a devastating experience because something in your life is going to end. But that's the point. If you want a different experience, the experience you're having currently has to end. But if you keep holding it, saying, okay, I can't let this go, I can't let this go, I can't let this go, you're right, you can't. This is where humanity is it's like a big knot of energy, right? It's all twisted and tied and tightened, really, like you can't even, those knots where you try and like you use fork prongs to open it up because it's so tight. Yes. These are the ones we're talking about, okay? The ones that you've tied and twisted so intricately and deeply. But the thing is now you're identifying with the knot. You're identifying with the aspects of scarcity and fear and not being enough. And so what happens is your fears start to come out. And they come out of the knot the way they're showing me. It's like these big monster heads with these long necks, and they come out and they just roar. And they have to have their say, right? Because that's it. It does. They roar in the sense that your fear wants to have its say. It needs to have its voice heard. And that is every single time you say, oh, well, I couldn't do it because, or, I wanted to do it, but, and because of this reason, or whatever it is, all of those are your monsters. Remember we were talking a couple episodes ago about the boogeyman, right? The monsters that are hidden under your bed. These are the ones you've made friends with and you're hanging out with, and you don't want to let them go. And the thing is you are now identifying as one of them. Everything you want is available to you. It is the foundation of existence. All you have to do is raise your vibration, right? Raising your vibration is the simple act of expanding your conscious awareness of what is possible for you and existence itself. That's it. Now, I know it sounds big and complicated, okay? But here's the thing. That's exactly how you as a soul were created to exist in this universe. It only sounds dramatic and complicated because we've been told that that doesn't exist. So right now, your brain is thinking, well, how do I make this happen? How can I do this? Listen, all of this information is innate. It's inside of you already. It's pre-programmed, if you will. It's like an automated computer that never breaks. It is impossible to break it. It's impossible for it to shut down. And all of those things, that go wrong with your computer, they'll never go wrong with you. The only time you forget to allow them to exist is when you focus too hard on your fears. Okay? So right now, today, what you're being asked to do is to remember that piece of you that has those inspirations for different, new, bigger experiences. They're meant to be yours, not because you deserve them, right? That energy of, I deserve this, right? I'm going to put my arms across my chest. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to cross my legs and I'm going to wait for it to come to me. I can tell you, it'll never show up because your expectation is, I don't have to participate. Things just come to me. That's not universal, right? That's poor me. That's pity. It's anger. It's fear. It's jealousy. None of those things are universal. Universal energies are truth and purity and joy, balance, movement, love, respect. Your job is to allow yourself to change. That's what it is. We're meant to change every single day, in every moment. Why? Because that's the only way you can actually experience your potential. The reason you're restless and annoyed and frustrated at doing the same thing year after year, day after day, week after week, is because you're ignoring your natural instincts, your instincts to explore your potential. It's why you get annoyed when you see other people around you trip over their own fears and not allow themselves to grow. It's because as our world is expanding, the consciousness is rising, right? As we're reclaiming our rightful place as humans in this world, we're no longer robots, if you will, right? Who have been taught to act, think, and be in a certain way. We're reclaiming our sovereignty. But that means you have to participate in a whole new way. Yep, it's scary. It's scary just because it's different. And the only reason it's scary is because it's different than what you've been told is true and is appropriate for you. And that's really what it comes down to, is that lovely, special little word appropriate, right? All those things you were taught as a child, don't do this, don't do that, don't think this way, don't think that way. Mind your P's and Q's, stay in line. There's no room for that. You know, we're self-governing. We understand that we treat each other with respect because it is a fundamental, universal energy inside of us, right? We act with truth and joy and purity come through us, but they can't come in. They can't come through you if you don't want to change. If you want to stay in your fear and let it, it's like a guard dog, right? It's standing guard in front of your house, and your house is the experiences that you've built. So what they're asking you is just feel for a minute as you're sitting here. Feel your guard dog. How angry do you get? Does that dog get? Can you see the teeth? Is there drool coming down when someone asks you or challenges you to change how you're thinking or how you're being? Just allow yourself to feel that truth. Because here's the thing. A lot of the time we think we're moving forward and we think we've got it all figured out. But if you still don't have the experiences you actually want, you're still guarding your old world. You're still guarding that life you don't want to let go of. So what is it in this life you don't want to let go of? What's your greatest fear? What's your greatest fear? And is that fear worthy of you not experiencing the things your heart most wants to experience? Because right now, those are your two choices. Stay in the fear and hold it as the most valid, important thing in your life, or go out and create the change. This is the foundation of existence in the sense of human. This is why humans were created, to experience your potential. And if you continue to feed your fears, you cannot experience your potential. You can't do both. It's one or the other. So your job is to decide which is more important. And then what are you going to do about it? We're going to talk more about what you can do in the next part. See you soon. Thank you. This way of being, you've been poisoned. You've been poisoned. And so instead of sitting in the poison and letting it continue to impact you and affect you and make your choices for you, you have to choose to get out of it.
So my question has to do more with I'm trying to situate it in my little framework of how I perceive and believe, I guess. How fear plays into ego. Because I've always felt for many years I've felt that fear relates to like our connection to our egoic self, our
100%. Yeah.
our wanting to maintain things in the past, because that's all the ego, in my opinion, is good for, is for understanding the past, like the brain, right? It knows what the past is and it wants to keep us safe moving forward. And so thus the fears come about. So my big question then is how do you change that perspective? How do you come to a new way of understanding that?
It's wanting a better life. First, wanting it and then choosing to participate. And this is the part where most people are like, I'm going to come up with all the reasons why I can't without even realizing that I'm not doing that. And it's being able to have the bigger vision, but then to your point, every single day, do something to feed that vision. Because most of us are like, well, I can't do it because I had to do this, or I can't do it because this person, didn't give me permission, or I didn't have enough money. All the same things. We go over and over and over, right? It's like we're excavators of excuses, right? Like, let's just find as many as we can, and we're going to put them here in front. So this can be the reason why I don't succeed today. This can be the reason why I justify why I can't do it today. And what happens is you're going to get to the end of your life and look back and go, wow, that's a lot of excuses. Or you can get to the end of your life and go, holy man, look at the things I did. Look at how I participated. And hearing the story of creation, we're feeling almost more restless now than before, right? Because it's this clarity of, well, I can't live in both worlds. So are you going to help create the new world, or are you going to stay in the old world? Because it's going to crumble, right? Do what you're meant to be doing rather than what everyone else is telling you to do. Sometimes you can't outright do everything right away, but you can certainly participate inside those rules in entirely different ways. It's such a big concept, but they're going to keep bringing it. But again, we have to participate. And today was really just recognition that most of us aren't participating when we think we are. It's really what today was about. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this conversation and want to learn more, head on over to michellevickers.com. Join our mailing list to receive new episodes right to your inbox, or apply to be a guest on the show. If this episode made you think of someone while you were listening, forward the link onto that person with a little note about why it made you think of them, because the greatest gift you can give another human is to see the beauty and purity of who they truly are. Until next time, stay curious.